Reggae icon Desi Jones has passed. A man cheated death twice after gun attack. Two brothers cut down in Westmoreland. New York Knicks humbled by Indiana. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. Desi Jones, one of Jamaica's preeminent musicians of the last half century, has died. Jones, the drummer from the band Chalice, died on Saturday at age 65. After he left Chalice, he formed the band School, but outside of those mainstay of his career, he was also known for his performance with Sonny Bradshaw's big band and live performances on various shows. He also played with many renowned Jamaican recording artists and wrote an instructional book, The Art of Reggae Drumming. Two of their greatest hits from Chalice are Still Love You and Revival Time. Another of the great icons past, Walk Good Desi. The St. James Police said that efforts are still underway to transfer the parish's most wanted man from the custody of the Haitian police. 25-year-old O'Shane Francis, otherwise called Brookham, was one of two Jamaicans apprehended on April 24th in a commute 26 kilometers south of Cap Haitian in Haiti after residents reported that they were suspected of being armed. Francis is also wanted for several murders in Jamaica. After an altercation in the Cornwall district of St. Elizabeth on May 9th, a bartender and a 17-year-old girl are accused of stabbing a woman in the face and back. Sashika Green, 19, of Slipe District, and teenage girl are both charged. And it is claimed that approximately 4:50 p.m., Green and her co-accused went to a business where they got into a fight with a woman. According to reports, the two accused got into a physical altercation during which they stabbed the woman in the face and back with a knife and scissors. Residents detained Green and the teen following the events and they turned them over to the police, who charged them 2 days later, according to police. A court date is now being arranged for them. A man cheated death twice after escaping with his life from two separate gun attacks in less than 24 hours in St. Anne. The man was first shot and injured around 11 on Thursday night and was again attacked by gunmen on Friday afternoon, but he managed to escape injuries, according to police. In the second incident, it was reported that about 1:30 p.m., the man was traveling in a taxi when he observed a white Toyota Axia motorcar trailing the cab. He reportedly alerted the driver, who slowed down. The Axia drove past and blocked the taxi path. The man, the police said, immediately jumped from the car and fled. Two men exited the Axia with guns and gave chase while firing several shots at him. He managed to jump a perimeter wall and escape injuries. The gunmen returned to their motorcar and drove away, according to police. And you can see that somebody definitely wants this man dead, and it seems they're not giving up and will keep trying until he's dead. A music producer was shot and injured at his home in Great Pond, Ocho Rios in St. Anne Friday afternoon. He has now died of his injuries. A man who was at the house escaped injuries. The man, identified as 19-year-old Malaki James, was shot and killed by gunmen who entered his home through a rear door that was left open. Reports are that about midday, James and a woman were inside the master bedroom of a two-story dwelling house when a man entered through a door left open at the rear. The man, the police said, pointed a gun at the woman and pressed the trigger, but nothing happened. The gunman then fired several shots, hitting James all over his body. The brave woman flung a glass table at the gunman and he ran from the house. James was rushed to the St. Anne's Bay Hospital where he was treated and admitted in serious condition, and around 7:45 p.m. he succumbed to his injuries. And no motive has yet been established for this gun attack. The bloodletting continued in Westmoreland as two brothers were shot and killed while playing dominoes at a shop in Burn Savannah Frome in the parish on Saturday night. The deceased men have been identified as 44-year-old auto mechanic Damian Powell, otherwise called Donkey Knees, and 42-year-old businessman Colin Daly, otherwise called Gary, both from the community. A 61-year-old man was also shot and injured in the incident. And it's reported that shortly after 9 p.m., the brothers were among a group of men at a shop playing dominoes when two men on a motorcycle rode up and opened gunfire at a group of men who ran frantically in different directions in fear of their lives. After the shooting subsided, Powell and Daly were found motionless, lying on the ground, suffering from what appeared to be gunshot wounds to their upper bodies, and another man was found suffering from gunshot wounds to his right leg. All three injured men were transported by the police to the hospital where Daly and Powell were pronounced dead on arrival. The injured man was treated and admitted in stable condition. A man was shot then when several armed men invaded his home at Hope Hill in 8 miles in Bull Bay, St. Andrew on Saturday morning. The dead man has been identified as 34-year-old electrician Joe Don Hutchinson. Reports are that around 1:30, Hutchinson was in his house when he was attacked by unknown assailants. He was taken outside where he was shot and killed, and investigators found two 5.56 spent casings while processing the scene. No motive has been established for this killing. On to sports, two-time world championship silver medalist Marie-José Talou Summit of the Ivory Coast and Jamaica's Julian Forte both ran season's best times to win the women's and men's 100 meters respectively at the inaugural Jamaica Athletics Invitational at the National Stadium on Saturday. In her first time competing in Jamaica in her first race of the season, Talou Summit ran 10.91 seconds, just holding off Crystal Slowly, who ran a personal best 11.09 seconds. Kemba Nelson was third in 11.12 seconds, also a season best. Forte, who ran 10.07 seconds a week earlier, just held off world indoor bronze medalist Akeem Blake as both men were awarded the same time of 10.02 seconds, while American Brandon Hicklin was third in 10.09 seconds. World record holder Toby Amundsen of Nigeria also ran a world-leading 12.40 seconds to win the 100 meters hurdle. The 2022 world champion took over the race at the 8 hurdles and got to the finish line ahead of world champion Danielle Williams, who ran a season best 12.46 seconds, and American Christina Clemens, who was third with 12.54. Meanwhile, British athlete Zarnell Hughes and Dina Asher-Simmet won the men's and women's 200 meters. Hughes, who is based in Kingston at the Racers Track Club, came from behind to win the men's race in a season's best 19.96 seconds, catching the fast-starting American Christian Coleman off the curve to run away with the win. While former World Championship 100 meters champion Fred Curley was second in 20.17 seconds, with France Pablo Matteo third in 20.20. Asher Smith clocked 22.51 seconds in the women's race to beat a late-charging Jessica Gabay of the Ivory Coast, who was second in 22.53 seconds, and Jamaica's Lani Tava Thomas third in 22.84. In the NBA, it was merciless last evening. Indiana Pacers completely wiped the floor with the New York Knicks. In a one-sided effort, it was a massacre, and they did win 121-89. The short-handed New York Knicks just didn't have the legs to keep up. Indiana led by as much as 43, the largest deficit of any playoff team has faced in these playoffs. And while Indiana could seemingly do nothing wrong, the Knicks couldn't do anything right. The Knicks, who again played without 4 key players because of injuries, looked fatigued and struggled through the entire game. The series is now tied 2-2 and Game 5 will be tomorrow. Football, Cavaliers will face Mount Pleasant in the Jamaica Premier League after Cavalier ambushed Annette Gardens 3-1 last night and Mount Pleasant edged Waterhouse 2-1. And we will give details on those games tomorrow. And don't forget, the best news and sports takes place on this station. If you ever miss the news, please go to YouTube, type in Jamerican Undiluted, listen, like, share, and subscribe to keep it going. That's news and sports on your favorite station. My name is Mikey Bones. I gone.